Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday morning edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock's Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic Parish Construction and Roofing. You need North Beach, go to Brock. You need roof, call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motion, restoredmotions.com, and Oakcock Brothers Premium Cigars. Order yours today. Use the promo code MAT15, MAT15, MAT15 for 15% off at checkout. All right, y'all, good morning. We're heading back from Houston. Singular. Heading back from Houston. AFR at the Rustic yesterday was a great success. I did, however, sweat out about maybe 7 to 10 pounds. Did not know we were going to be doing the show outside in Houston in July with a heat index of like 114. So your boy was not prepared. I figured certainly we'd be inside. We were not. So I was wearing jeans. I was not wearing a dry fit shirt. Knee socks, shout out to Dead Soxy. All that to say, it's very uncomfortable, but we made it through. Big shout out to my buddy Dan Matthews, real MVP. Went to Academy Sports and bought me some golf shorts. I Venmo'd him, but he's the real MVP. Borrowed some low socks from my brother-in-law and then went to the Astros game. So I was able to wash my face, reapply some deodorant, some of the body lotion in the hotel, my arms, so it didn't smell like a shoe. And then went to the Astros game. So Astros lost 2-1 to the Nats. It's a bummer too, man. So we went expecting to see Dylan Cruz, and so our group got tickets in right field. And the reason we got tickets in right field was thinking, oh, great, we'll sit right here in right field and get to watch Dylan Cruz the whole game. And the Dylan Cruz injured, making rehab start in Rochester. So we did not get to see Dylan Cruz. Anyway, did get to see my buddy Chandler Rome last night after the game. Chandler Rome, Calici, LSU alum, covers the Astros for The Athletic. So popped over to the hotel afterwards and sat in the lobby and had a cocktail. So it was nice to see him and chat for a bit. Then early to rise, man, hit the road, and here we are on the way back to BR. So thanks for being there with us. Please smash that like button if you would subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. Appreciate y'all for being there with us. There in the description, I got about the updated point spreads. I did mention this on AFR, featured in today's Locked On, so I hope you go check out Locked On LSU. But DraftKings updated point spreads for 5 LSU games, and there were 2 that were the most notable. The LSU-Bama game in June was like the line was 7.5. With Bama being favored by a touchdown over LSU, that's down to 5.5. It's still LSU's an underdog. It's still significant, but a line to move 2 points without a game being played is pretty significant. But the more significant one is Ole Miss. So LSU in June was a 2.5 point underdog in Oxford. Now they're a 2.5 point favorite in Oxford. That game is completely flipped. And so my guess is that's a product of a lot of sharp bettors starting to do their research and recognizing that Ole Miss is losing a ton. LSU has leading returning passer in college football, and a transfer portal full of mercenaries, or a roster full of transfer portal mercenaries, and probably going to be pretty good. And LSU should win that game in Oxford. Now, the home team has won the LSU Ole Miss game the last 5 years. So recent history not on LSU side. But I thought that was very interesting. Also, the odds for the first coach to be fired. The Arizona coach that was number 1 on the list, Brent Venables, was number 2. So I think you look at when all this, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, Bama, Oklahoma, their road conference games. The Ole Miss line is flipped. LSU's going to be favored at Vanderbilt. The Alabama line is coming down. And I would expect LSU is going to be favored at Oklahoma, and Brent Venables has the second best odds in the country to be the first coach fired. So, hello, man. I understand how nominally LSU's schedule looks tough. When you actually start to look into context, the when and where you play, and then some of the circumstances surrounding these teams this year, it starts to look way more manageable. And I know I've told you a bunch. They avoid a back-to-back. They avoid a back-to-back road conference situation, so that they're never on the road back-to-back weeks in conference, which is massive. And like last year, there were back-to-back road conference games. Arkansas and A&M beat Arkansas, lost to A&M. Like historically, it's very hard to win back-to-back road conference games. And then you look at the quote-unquote tough LSU games, and they have either a week off or a breather before the games. I mean, obviously Clemson's the first game, so you should be healthy. Before South Carolina, you've got before South Carolina, you've got Southeastern, and then before Ole Miss, you've got a bye. Or before South Carolina, you have a bye before Ole Miss and Southeastern. I think that's it. Before you get a bye before Bama, you get Vandy before A&M, you get Western Kentucky before Oklahoma. So, anyway, like the way it shapes up. That's all. All right, Saints have a walkthrough today. They're going to be heading to L.A. to practice with the Chargers next week before the first preseason game. Thursday, y'all, is the Hall of Fame game. Thursday is the first preseason game of the NFL slate. Incredible. By the way, Thursday, please help spread the word. Thursday, AFR live from court to table on Burbank. That's the old Oasis and Shed. That's Gordon's new pickleball place. And excited to pop in there, man. If you haven't been, really great spot. My prediction is court to table is going to become everybody's new favorite place to watch football games this fall. It's nothing against other great sports bars. There's plenty of them. Of course, you have the casinos as well. People like to gamble. That's a great spot to go watch games if you want to gamble. Court to table is so spacious, so comfortable. Everything I've had on the menu has been really excellent. And there are TVs everywhere, indoors and out. So I think that's going to be a place where people want to watch Sunday Ticket, and we'll go set up like all day on a Sunday and crush, food and beer, get you some ice cold Bud Lights, and watch your football Saturdays and football Sundays. So Thursday, AFR court to table. If you have not been, I encourage you to come out. Again, we'll be there for the AFR and then for the Hall of Fame game. So really encourage you to come out to see court to table if you haven't seen it yet. make plans to stop by after work or to watch or during the show or to watch the game or whatever the case may be. So, all right, y'all. Say some good mornings here as best I can. Again, driving home from Houston, so got to keep my eyes on the road and not going to look down at comments, but I can kind of glance when I get a break. I will. Hey, Brad, Jason, appreciate y'all, man. Thomas, JP24, Tiger Poppy, good to see everybody. Christian Case, all the hype with Clemson is 9-3 overhyped. Wacky Chris, good morning. Hey, Deborah Coward, good morning. The Clemson thing I do think is interesting. Clemson thing I think is interesting because part of me understands the hype around Clemson and part of me understands your point. So all the things I've said, right? They have a fifth-year senior quarterback, very talented. Coach has won national titles. They're at home. Arguably the best defensive line in college football returning. They got a lot going for them. Playoff team a year ago, all that stuff. Now, also true is they made the playoff because in the regular season finale, Miami went and threw up on itself and blew a big lead against Syracuse, if you remember. That's what got Clemson into the ACC championship game where they played SMU. SMU lost to Clemson, and then SMU got skull-drugged by Penn State in the playoff. Like, are we really impressed by that? Probably not. Not like super duper impressed anyway. And it is also worth noting that Clemson, when they played legit opponents last year, it didn't go super great. Like, they lost at home to Louisville. Yeah, I'm not because I understand. I think your point is a good one, and I think there's legitimacy to both points for Clemson. Why people are hyping them, but why you're right if you have some skepticism around Clemson. They do lose some on the back end of their defense. Phil Maffa, their great running back, is gone, so they got to replace some skill guys. Make defense great again. Camp schedule. Normally, Michael Bonnet will send out the fall camp schedule so we know when they're practicing, what our availability is. I still have not gotten that. That usually comes in the inbox early in the week when they start, and I still haven't gotten it. So, but whenever they have fall camp, yes, I will be there. Hey, Jacob Thompson, good morning. Dale Broussard, headed to U Club for golf tomorrow. Okay, man. Check out Breck Golf. Breck Golf, great sponsor of After Further Review on to AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Santa Maria, Beaver Creek, gorgeous courses. Considering as much as you play, Dale, you'd probably enjoy those two the most. Let's see, Duval, you were punished watching the Astros AAA lineup due to their 18 guys on IL. Yeah, it was definitely a Jose Altuve and who else? We did get to watch Framber Valdez, who's really good. A lot of strikeouts yesterday on both teams, 2-1 ball game. Really not a very well played game at all. But whatever, I don't really care about either of those teams. Hey Rex, what's up? Eric Hart, Grizzly, great Saturday. Also, what's up, Eli? So Eli is not in the car with me. Empty seat. Eli is riding home with James, so his dad. So James met us in Houston. So I picked up Eli yesterday and brought him to Houston. James met us there. And So Eli and James are riding back together today. So I'm solo. Cruising along. And yes, Grizzly Great Saturday. Hey, Dad, good morning. Bubba Smith, good morning. Ben Bertro, good morning. Quentin Breakbill, appreciate y'all. Rex, any plans to do any Saints game watch-alongs? Would love to do that. Now, do you mean here on the channel? Like, to do, like companion shows during the game? I mean, I'd love to do that. And I suppose we can, because can't do it for LSU, but nothing to prevent me from doing it for the Saints. For those wondering about why can't for LSU, when Guarantee signed their new we used to have for baseball, we would do the companion shows. When Guarantee extended his contract with LSU as the media rights partner, LSU, as part of the deal, requested we not do companion shows anymore. Remember, T-Bob, in the COVID year, maybe even a couple of seasons, T-Bob would do LSU companion shows. And they put in our contract that we couldn't do companion shows. They saw it as a competition to the broadcast, which, whatever. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just do it on my personal channel. And they wanted to extend it to like all of our talent as well, so we couldn't do. So I was like, LSU doesn't really control what I do on my personal YouTube channel, but whatever, I'll play nice. Anyway, Chance, what's the first group you want to watch at LSU practice? Well, yeah, look, man, for me, so I'm going to answer your question literally, and then figuratively. So literally, the first group I'll probably watch are the quarterbacks, receivers, or the receivers, DBs when they go against each other. Because I want to see the offensive line most, but we're not going to learn anything until they put pads on. So it's really just walkthroughs and shells until they put pads on. So when they go full pads, or they put on shoulder pads, I'll pay more attention to the offensive line for sure, because I think that's the offensive line and the secondary. I think are the biggest questions on the LSU team, and then I guess also something I mentioned before is how many guys that they have to get involved in the offense, and that's a real challenge for Joe Sloan to get all the skill guys involved. But that's different. That's not this is a real concern. Can they answer it? How do they address it? It's a good problem to have. So, good question. Seth, good morning. All right, y'all. Hey, Tavanka De Silva, good morning from Sri Lanka. Will O-line be competitive against the Clemson D-line? Yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest position battle to watch. Clemson has arguably the best D-line in the country, turning. And LSU got 4 new starters on the offensive line. So that is a massive, massive challenge from jump. Keep Garrett Nussmeier upright and try to establish a running game when you couldn't do it a year ago. So I sure hope LSU goes to Clemson and whips them. Nussmeier slings it for 350, and Caden Durham runs for $120, and LSU scores 38 and wins 38-20, and we're all like, okay, this is a legit championship contender. I would love to see that. I just think realistically, going on the road, tough environment, raucous crowd, all that stuff, good defense, veteran quarterback, all that stuff, it's just going to be a real challenge, that opener. Let's see. Trivia. It would be awesome to do a companion show with Michael Braswell for Saints Falcons. Maybe I'll do that. So Braswell from the Atlanta area told us when he came in studio that he's a Falcons fan. So, yeah, I don't know what he'll be doing, man. If he'll be playing ball or I'm sure he'll be in pro ball somewhere, in rookie ball. But actually, I need to go check. Did he sign a pro contract anywhere? I need to go check on that. Anyway, all right, y'all. Please smash that like button if you would subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, been a great sponsor here on Morning Scone for years. If you need an orthopedist, they're the best with locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. brortho.com, brortho.com. After our nights and weekends, roofing, you give us a shout. Been a lot of inclement weather this summer. If you have roof damage, think you might, water intrusion, shingles on the ground, granules coming out of your downspout, always good indicators that you could have damage. So let us come do that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Harris, what 2 games can LSU lose and still comfortably make the playoff with missing the second championship game? Also, what games can you absolutely not lose? Yeah, I don't think yeah, it's a good question, but I think any combination of LSU's 10-2 will get them in the playoff. Like, hear me out. Even if you lose Clemson and Louisiana Tech, and you go 10-2, well, that means you're 8-0 in conference. You won at Ole Miss, you won at Bama, you won at Oklahoma, you beat A&M, you beat South Carolina, you beat Florida. Like, you're in the playoff. Plus, you're also in the championship game. Now, to your question, you're saying missing the SEC championship game. So I think you're talking about kind of like what strength of record within the SEC. I still think any version of 6-2 in the conference gets you there, because that would include a road win over Clemson. Right? If you beat Clemson and then you go 6-2 in the league, let's say you lose road games against Bama and Oklahoma. It would be not a good thing to lose 2 in November, but the strength of your wins would get you there. I mean, even if you played out and say, what if you lost to Vanderbilt and South Carolina? Well, you still beat Clemson and Florida and at Ole Miss and at Bama and at Oklahoma and A&M. I mean, the strength of that record is going to be plenty. I mean, all that to say, if you're 10-2, it doesn't matter what the 10-2 looks like, you're going to be in the playoff. So, anyway, good question, y'all. Rex, I still can see LSU's offense more pass happy than last year. Consider the O-line thoughts. No, I don't think that, Rex. And I'll tell you, it's not. It's based on an observation. Across the board, in watching them in the spring, Nussmeier, Sloan, Kelly, the backs, all of them, I think everybody understands they have to be better running the football. And so what we saw in the spring was more creativity. Like I've mentioned, jet sweeps with Anderson and Thomas. We saw formations with Anderson and Thomas in the backfield with each other, like lined up with Nussmeier, then would cross at the snap. Of course, you have Durham and Jackson and Harlem Berry coming in. And then Nussmeier telling us point blank, he needs to be a willing runner. Not that he's ever going to be Jaden Daniels, but there's got to be times where on 3rd and 5, if he's got space, he's got to just tuck the ball, run, get 6 yards, and keep the chains moving. So I think all those things considered, there's going to be more of an emphasis on running the football across the board, both in how Sloan calls the plays, how Nussmeier makes his decisions with the ball. So I think they will be better rushing. It's just